So this right here is the Akaso Brave 7. It's essentially an off-brand, much cheaper and affordable GoPro. You can pick up the Akaso for about 150 bucks, and the GoPro for comparison is almost $500. And we still have many of the same features of the GoPro: 4K video recording, dual displays, waterproof, durable, small little package. Obviously, as a complete package, the fit and finish isn't going to be to the same level as the GoPro, but the real question here is, does the Akaso do enough? Is the video quality acceptable to be a good, cheaper alternative? So that's what we're going to find out in this video. If you guys enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and let's do this. Okay, let's begin with a quick spec rundown so you guys know what you're looking at. So it is rated for IPX waterproof. It has electronic image stabilization 2.0, dual color displays, voice control, time-lapse, slow motion, a nifty remote control. Super useful if the camera is mounted somewhere. You can control it via this rather than a smartphone app, which this does have, by the way. The camera has a USB-C charging port, which can also be used as an external mic. Although an important caveat here is I tried plugging in my usual Type-C lav mic into this camera, and it did not work. You have to buy a specific USB-C lav mic from this company. That's the only way to have an external mic with this camera, but it is possible. Now, I gotta say, a highlight of this camera is all of the accessories that it comes with. So you get the camera itself, the cage that it slides into, the remote control, the battery charger, because you can charge this outside of the camera, 2 batteries, and they have a capacity of 1,350 milliamps each. They include 7 different mounts, 2 helmet mounts, a handlebar mount, different straps, zip ties, and 2 adhesive pads. So that's really awesome, but if that's still not enough, you can pick up this accessory kit with even more mounts. Now, just like with most action cameras, this does take photos up to 20 megapixels, but by far the primary objective here is video, and it goes up to 4K 30 FPS. You also have 2.7K 30 FPS, 1080p 60 frames per second, and 720p 120 frames per second. Aside from the standard video mode, we have time-lapse video, slow motion, still photo, and loop recording. Now, when I first turned on the camera, the menu system isn't as appealing, as attractive as something like the GoPro, and that's one of the sacrifices you make for the cheaper price tag. Although I gotta say, in terms of functionality, navigating the menu, it was very easy to do so and find all of the settings that you might want to access. And initially looking at the display on the camera, the footage didn't look that good. But once I transferred the footage to my computer and looked at it on that display, the footage actually looked pretty good. Here's some POV chest mount riding footage using this camera. I do have it in the widest field of view, and I mean, you guys be the judge, but I was expecting a lot worse considering only a $150 price tag. Now again, it is a step down from the DJI Action 3, the GoPro Hero 10. You're not going to find HDR video, 10-bit color, any of those more expensive pro features, but that's okay. This camera is going to a different audience. If you're a professional videographer, of course you're not going to buy this camera. I think the Akaso is more suited for the kind of person that wants to try out an action camera, potentially for the first time. So you want to try out a camera you can mount in different fun locations, it's durable, waterproof, and gives you a decent 4K footage without costing close to $500. And again, after transferring the footage off of the little display on the camera and looking at it on my computer, the footage was above my expectations. I filmed a time-lapse, and this is what it looks like right now. I think it's more than fine. There were some things I wasn't that huge of a fan of. The Akaso, you need to have the camera in this cage in order to mount it anywhere, because the camera itself doesn't have any of those mounting fingers or a 1/4 inch tripod mount. In fact, even the cage only has those action camera finger mounts, no 1/4 inch tripod adapter. The only way to mount this camera on a traditional tripod is to use one of these adapters, which, to be fair, does come in the box. To touch a bit more on the footage, the overall quality, the image quality, was above my expectations. I think it looks great considering the $150 $50 price tag. But as you can see with the riding footage, the field of view isn't that wide. It's more comparable to the linear field of view in the GoPro. So if you're looking for something ultra wide to give you that kind of a perspective, this might not be the best for those applications. Also, the electronic image stabilization, it definitely helps, but it's not nearly as good as the hyper smooth of the GoPro or the Rocksteady of the DJI. I think it's good enough for most use cases because action cameras are often mounted in different locations, even FOV footage. I think it looks good, but if you plan on doing a lot of handheld recording, any running, stuff like that, the image stabilization might be a limiting factor in those use cases. All right, this is a test of the onboard microphone on the Akaso Brave 7. I'm about 1 foot behind the camera, slight breeze. I think the audio sounded okay. I did notice that once you got moving, the wind noise was pretty intense, but you do have a foam wind cover that goes over the camera, and that helps a lot to mitigate that wind noise. So yeah, that's my take on the Akaso Brave 7, a budget, dual screen, waterproof action camera that can film in 4K, has image stabilization, comes with a bunch of accessories, 2 batteries straight out of the box. I was surprised by the actual image quality itself, along with the dimensions of the camera. It's almost identical to the more expensive GoPros, but you will notice a gap in quality between this and the much more expensive GoPro. So the menu system, for example, is very primitive with the Akaso. Same thing goes for the image stabilization and the field of view. It all feels like it's a couple generations behind the GoPro. But for the amateur, I don't think any of that is a deal breaker. And if you're looking to try out an action camera, this could be an excellent way to do that. So I'll leave an affiliate link for this camera down below. If you guys enjoyed, I'd appreciate a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.